Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown. Let's go.
Yo, by the way, Kate Think back here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast, and welcome to the aftermath of the Haason Reddick trade, if that's what we're gonna call it. Joey Shakes, man, what's going up, man? How are you? I can't hear you.
Sorry. It's my bad.
Forgot to push the button.
I just woke up not too long ago, so I feel like we're going through free. I'm good. I feel like we're going through free agency. I feel like we were on a steady course. We were getting our moves done, and then this kind of got us sidetracked a little bit. It was going on for weeks, and unfortunately, it happened. For what reason? I guess there are reasons for it. We can probably be on both sides of it and figure out maybe there are positives more than negatives, but it's very hard when you're trying to go after a Super Bowl. And it's hard that we know that Reddick has to play very good next year have a monstrous year next year just to get a draft pick. Not for this year, not for next year. For 2026 as a third-round conditional, have to play over 67% of the snaps.
Right.
And has to have 10-plus sacks on top of it. So in that rotation in New York. So that's where we're at. Why Howie has done this? Me and you kind of talked about it afterwards a little bit on whose fault could it really have been, and maybe it could have been Howie, maybe it could have been. And I was pretty much saying maybe it could have been Reddick, maybe just not budging, and he was just sticking to one price, and the Eagles weren't going to go down on that. And I don't know what you think, but
yeah, I mean, maybe Well, let me say hi to everybody in the chat first of all. Nathan, what's going on? Splenda, Jadis Young, Vigilant. Woogie, Daniel Berry, K. Robinson, Purify, Rock the Artist, Time for Action. Dave Does, what's going on? Zilla, the dude, Martin, bunch of people in here. Stream Element says you have a Shakedown Army. Somebody, you know anything about that?
It's random. Just don't pay attention to it. Don't pay attention to that.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What is going on, everybody? Thank you guys for being here. If I missed you, sorry about that. My thoughts are I'm just a little bit shocked and taken back, not by the fact that the Eagles traded him. I mean, we heard the rumors about that. I'm just shocked about the fact that you're getting a 2026 draft pick. Like, why a 2026 draft pick and not something that helps you this year right away? I really don't understand it. I don't understand some of the logic that's out there for the reasons why. We weren't having cap problems this year and had to do it because of the cap move. Like some people say, well, we got to pay Devontae Smith. But you could have afforded Devontae Smith.
I know.
And then it's like, then the other justification I just don't get is, well, essentially we traded for Bryce Huff and a third. No, you didn't trade for Bryce Huff. You had him already on the roster with Haason Reddick. See, I don't want it to be like in 2 years, everybody's going to think of it as the Huff Reddick trade. It was not that. It was Reddick for picks in 2026, which tells me one of two things. One, the Eagles were determined to move him, even at a loss, because Howie Roseman does not lose trades. And right now, as we sit here right now today, it looks like a loss of a trade. Now, everything could change depending upon how Huff and Smith play. If they play well, then it was worth it. But as of right now, today, I mean, it's hard to understand this trade. And then, the other thing I'll say is I believe there's another shoe to drop. I don't believe Howie Roseman, and this is his plan. I believe Reddick had to be moved for something else to take place. What that is, I don't know.
You're taking a big gamble right now with Nolan Smith that hasn't produced with the Philadelphia Eagles yet. And Bryce Huff coming in, like, this is a guy that's been a rotational defensive end with one double-digit sack season at 43% of the snaps. Like, he hasn't played a full season yet. We don't even know what he looks like playing a full season yet. You're paying this guy based off of what he could do on a full season, a potential. That I think that contract will look good. Why didn't people are asking me too, Philly, why didn't the Jets pay Bryce Huff then? Because they don't look at Bryce Huff.
That's a great question.
They don't look at Bryce Huff that way. They don't look at him as like Reddick late in his career right now, like with the statistics that he has. They don't look at Bryce Huff like that off of one. You're not going to pay him that much. The Eagles went all in.
And the same weaknesses that they complain about Reddick is the same things and issues that Huff has. Does not play the run well. Does not cover well. He's purely a pass rush specialist. I feel like as of right now today, like it was the one move too many. But I also got to take this and say that there's a lot we don't know. Was Reddick going to hold out? If Reddick was going to hold out, it really hamstrings what you can do. But I will say this also, keep an eye out on whether Reddick gets a contract from the Jets. If he doesn't get an extension and plays the last year of his contract out, then he would have played that with Philly. And, so, I mean, listen, I have never seen a trade by Howie Roseman where I was like, this is the first one. And I just don't believe that Howie Roseman was going to let that. There's got to be something else.
But look at the draft compensation too. Like, look at compensation look how the trades all over the place. It's not even just like this trade, but this looks like the worst out of all of them. Like L'Jarius Sneed, third, a 25 third round pick. Brian Burns, second round pick. Less
second and fifth.
Second and I forgot what the other pick was. Second and then some, okay? Fifth round pick. And he's younger, but doesn't have the statistics as Reddick. But, like Justin Simmons, like he's another guy that, Denver was going to trade him, and who's going to have interest in a 30-year-old and give up high draft compensation and have to pay him. That's part of it too, with all these trades going on.
Yeah. That's the thing is a lot of these guys like Sneed and stuff, when you have to pay him big money, you don't want to pay a lot in draft compensation as well. So that's a part of it. But the difference between Reddick and all those cases was he was under contract. His numbers were already figured into our salary cap, and we still had $33 million. So it's just, I don't get the trade other than to say that either they know something about Nolan Smith or Huff, and they know and they're sure that these guys are going to be as good, if not better, right away, or there's another shoe to drop. I just, I don't know.
That's why part of it is how do you that's why last year was such a shit show, because how are you supposed to analyze your roster with the coaching that we had last year? How are you supposed to sit there as a coach and say, this is what I have, this is who I'm going to release, this is who I'm going to trade, this is who I'm going to, you don't even have really good, a statistic type of what you have, what you don't have. Maybe they do, right. But the way that these players were used last year, how, it's just really pisses me off. Nolan Smith, it's really not even Nolan Smith's fault. I know he had that stinger in the beginning, on the preseason game, missed some time, but they just didn't give him any rep. Barely his rotation was just horrible. He almost was disappeared from this defense. So it's a big gamble taking on Bryce Huff, and it's a big gamble on. They're trying to just get younger, and they're taking on some of the younger guys and saying, hey, we're going to go off our younger guys like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. It's time to now, with the past few drafts, they're going to go off around these guys now. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. The Beard XSL Gaming, man, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says they're going to trade that pick. Are you referring to the Reddick Reddick pick? I don't think the Eagles can even trade that pick because I
No.
think for a pick to be traded, you have to know what it is. So like that's a third round pick that can become a second round pick, and until we know exactly what that pick is, I don't even think they could pick it. So or they could trade it. So they wouldn't be able to trade it this year. Shizzo Flex, thank you for the super chat. My man, he goes, AJ's contract has no guarantees after this season. He'll be back at the table next summer. Do you think Hurts has input on who stays 6 or 11? I think to a certain point, but I think that the Eagles are not going to let a draft pick, a guy that is homegrown, go. So I think the Eagles keep Devontae Smith before they keep AJ Brown, simply because the Eagles really take the whole your homegrown guys, you draft your players, you sign them really seriously. So I think that Devontae ends up staying. That's why going wide receiver early in the round is not a bad move,
right?
For the long run. If you can get somebody that can play in the slot and then eventually play outside, I'm really curious what some of the people are saying, man. I was angry, dude, when that trade first took place. Dude, all I saw was red. I couldn't see it. I was so angry, and I could feel my blood pressure going up because I'm just trying to think, like, all right, if you had a third round pick in 2024, like this draft, I get it, but 2026, if you just let him play out and leave, you'll get a compensatory pick in 2026. So it doesn't make sense to me,
Yeah, I get it.
You're not going to get many compensatory picks next year, right? But the year after that would be the one that counts if Reddick was to walk. That probably would have been a third round pick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then if you look I'll say this. I am not shitting on Nolan Smith or Bryce Huff. I am not saying they're busts. I'm not saying they're not good players.
I get it.
All I'm saying is we have to see more from them before we really know. Reddick is a guy that literally has gotten double-digit sacks 4 straight years in a row. You know what you get from him.
Yeah.
Huff has done it once. I have the same issue with Sweat. Sweat has only done it once. Sweat has got to show us more consistency.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's enough. I don't know, Sweat and Brandon Graham on another side is going to be enough. Like with Haason Reddick, you're just getting, it's not even just like his play, but you're getting a really good locker room guy. You're getting a guy that just sets an example. But when it comes to his play too, like it's a consistent player. Like, what really pisses me off? All the people that say, "Oh, he didn't do nothing at the end of last year." That pisses me off because then everyone's just likes to single him out like he's the whole entire defense. Like no one else produced. Everyone else produced besides him. So you have a guy who was making $15 million a year, and obviously knowing that he was underpaid. Now, if he played on his current contract going into the season, he'd be like the 24th highest paid edge rusher, which is. We're not saying that he doesn't deserve his money, but if this trade, if this trade took this long, and Howie, if something was getting done, it would have got done earlier. It took this long because I feel like Howie had no choice, and his hands were tied, and he wasn't going to get the compensation that he wants. A lot of the rumors were coming out that the Eagles are wanting a second round pick, and why did it become a conditional third? Because they couldn't get the second. And I think that was the whole process of it.
Yeah, I think that there must have been some reason that they felt they had to trade him, and we've heard rumors about him and Sweat not doing what was asked at the end of the year. I understand people don't like the way he played the last 6 games, but the whole defense was horrible the last 6 games. But was he a problem in the locker room? Was there something like that? Like, what are we missing? Because I feel like there's a giant piece to this puzzle we're missing. All the rumors that the Eagles weren't just going to give Reddick up for nothing, and they weren't going to do, like, to go into next season and not get anything for him is what just surprises me.
Realistically, do you think he wanted? He was going to get paid more than Bryce Huff. I think we all know this, but how much money do you think he actually wanted? Because if he wanted was he going to get paid $1 million more than Bryce Huff? It would have been. If he wanted more than $23 million a year, I don't know if they were willing to pull that right
No,
now.
I don't think they, and I don't think they should have extended him.
No.
I'm perfectly okay with that. But you could have gone and restructured the last year of his contract. Here's an
Yes.
extra $5 million and whatever. Make him happy for that 1 year. See, everybody says, well, he would have hold out. I don't think at 30 years old, guy can
No,
afford
you,
to hold
you,
out.
you don't have the time to
You can't
do that.
afford to hold out because you're going to hurt yourself from getting that long-term contract. He really would have been stuck having to play. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to this we don't know. And I don't know if it has to do with like in the locker room stuff, if it's money, or if Howie Roseman is sitting there going, we got to move Reddick because we're getting ready to do this.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping.
And part of it, and part of it too, even with the Jets, if they were in, we don't know if like how long and then there's another thing, we don't know how long they've been in talks with the Jets. It's been just the Jets, or it was multiple teams, but the Jets just had more. The Jets were going to have Jadeveon Clowney at one point, and then he went to the Panthers. So I mean, I guess they just switched avenues, and Joe Douglas and Howie Roseman have worked together. So I don't think they were bickering back and forth. I think it was perfectly fine. It was down to Reddick, what he wanted, and it was down to what the Eagles, wanted in return. And the Jets were going to give it. And besides some of the trades that we've seen this year, like for a 30-year-old guy, you're not going to get high draft compensation if a team has to pay a player that much money. We're going to see what this contract is, but we'll find out.
Right. Remember, they're going to have this draft and you don't have anything for the Reddick trade. Then you have a whole nother draft where it doesn't do anything for the Reddick trade. Then you get the pick for Reddick. So it's really far out there. Like, Nick Foles says, no, go ahead. What are you
You're good. You're good.
Okay, I'm telling you, I think Howie is doubting Hurts. And the next time he has a bad season, Tiny Hands will be our quarterback. Well, maybe Howie. When's Manning's kid come out of the draft? In 2026? Are we setting up for something in case? I don't know. I'm just kidding. But Chizzo Flex, thank you for the super chat. He goes, they do, but if Hurts says, I want AJ here, and AJ sees that Jefferson Lamb deal, he's going to want to be in the ballpark. This is very interesting. I really think that you'll see, in my opinion, I think AJ Brown plays for the Eagles another 2 years. And then I think that he moves on. I think that's what's going to happen, in my opinion. I would love to have both of those guys. But, what are we talking, like 30 million per receiver? It's hard to believe that they would pay that much.
25 plus. Yeah. That's what the going rate is.
Yeah, and thank you for that super chat. It is going to be interesting. I will say that. Oklahoma says the Jets will be giving a second because Reddick is about to have 20 sacks. Great.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely funny, but it's like he in that rotation, who knows? Like he's got to catch fire early. We know he's really streaky, but I don't want to see. It's like I want him to do well, but I don't want to see him do well because like it's just going to make us look so much worse. It's like not only do you get it. I mean, I had to do a double take at that report and said 2000.
That's what I did. Yeah. I know because I was actually in the car. I was driving home for lunch, and I read it, and it was like, oh, third. So we got third. That might be a second. But wait a second. How would they know? And I looked again. I'm like, oh, wait, that's a 2026. Wait, what? That's when I kind of got pissed off. Kay Robinson says Reddick's done it, but other teams moved on for him too. And that's an interesting point she brings up because Reddick has been on two other teams before this. And they were both willing to move on from him after double-digit years. Why is that, too? Is Reddick the most underappreciated player in the NFL?
It's looking like
or is there something about his game that teams think that, yeah, he might get a sacks, but we're going to move on from him? I mean, Arizona did. Carolina did. And then now we did. I don't know.
And I think part of it is like I don't know what's going on like behind the scenes too with him. I mean, we're talking about anything that's going on behind the scenes. But I think the one thing too is, is it if their Eagles were willing to give him or meet, or they weren't even looking like they were going to meet in the middle anyway. But if they were going to, like, do you think that paying him what they were going to get paid for an off-ball scheme like this, is it going to be worth the money? Like we're you're gonna, you just saved it like 14.5 million. You're over 40 million cap space right now. You got you got some good cap right now, but it's very late in free agency, and what else could you do out there? I think the only free agent that's really available is Yank Ngakoue, which he's 30 right now, and it's he's only had 4 sacks. It's probably his second worst year of his career with the Bears.
Man, somebody put something in my mind. They planted a seed yesterday in a comment. And now the comment, the planted seed comment just is growing in my mind, and it's taking complete control.
What's that?
What if the Eagles are setting up to trade for Josh Allen of the Jaguars? Right. Well, mind blown, brother. Now, if you do something like that, I'm like, I get it.
You think like a draft? You think like a draft day trade?
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I've never seen Howie get so little back in value for a pick. And he doesn't do anything without it being – Howie's usually 3-4 steps ahead of everybody. So, to me, some people say, well, it's fair value, but it's 2026, and you're trying to win a Super Bowl here in 2024, Trexler says it wasn't enough last year, and we had Reddick. But the whole defense stunk. I mean, listen. I think trading when Desai got fired, and Patricia came in, instead of Patricia just taking over, knowing what these guys do well, and this is what I don't understand about coaches, even Vic Fangio. Like, I don't understand, why is it so important that you think your scheme is better than the talent? Like, a good coach, Dick Vermeil has said this, a good coach looks at the players and the talent that he has and builds his scheme according to that. Why are some of these coaches so rigid that they can't come off of their scheme even a little bit so you can benefit your players? Patricia comes in and he tries to change things up. I think Reddick dropped back like 30% of the time with him taking over. It's hard for me to blame Reddick. I mean, the whole defense was bad, and I don't know that that's the reason why I wouldn't bring Reddick back. At the end of the day, he still had 11. He was your only double-digit sack guy.
Oh, so what's the plan B? Like, we were thinking, the draft. I think, and I said that, I've said this in multiple videos, that whatever happens to Haason Reddick is going to drastically change what they do in the draft. I feel like it changes, indefinitely changes now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. KT Daver super chat says Mark Holmes posts more Eagles content than y'all. It's because he's got nothing else to do. Mark Holmes makes a video every 5 minutes. It's like, turn it on. Hey, friends, Mark Holmes. I don't know. And then he gets in his car. Hey, friends, Mark Holmes. I'm in the car. Then it's like, oh, hey, friends, I'm at Home Depot. Hey, friends, I'm vacuuming. Hey, friends, I'm about to make matrimonial duties. Hey, friends, I finished matrimonial duties. That's why it was only 15 seconds from my last video. Like, he makes 1,000 videos a day. At this point, it's like, it's either Eagle stuff or why it's not Dak's fault. Those are his 2 videos every day. Eagle stuff, and then it's not Dak's fault. But thank you for super chat. So Reddick has been a locker room problem. It's the only way this trade makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it would be the only way I could see that we have to move. Because don't you feel, Joey, that it's like they're not just saying, well, we got to trade him because he wants a contract. They're like, we got to get him out of here. We got to get him out of here, even if we take a loss.
I think we're going way too far into it.
I don't know. I mean, dude, how many times do you see somebody ask for draft picks that are literally 2 years down the road?
No, I know. And why does Howie accept it? So it makes you think either they were desperate to get rid of him, or Reddick was just not budging out of his price range. And I don't know. I mean, how do the Eagles? They had all the control? Like, that's the issue I have. They had the leverage. They had all the control. And yes, the only time they won't have the leverage is if Haason Reddick gets to training camp and he says, well, I'm holding out. And maybe he already told the Eagles, well, if you guys keep me on the roster, maybe the agent said, if Reddick stays on the roster, he's just going to hold out. So take whatever you can get. I don't know. But I mean, hopefully we find out. But
yeah, So I feel like there's a big piece to this whole thing that we don't get and we don't know, because I like I said, I've never seen Howie Roseman make a trade where I'm like, I don't know, he didn't get enough for that, And I think a lot of people, like a lot more people, would be into this. Matter of fact, I have a poll. Let me see what this poll says. I did a poll. What grade you gave the Eagles for the Reddick trade? A was 6%, B 19, C 28, 45% people said D and F, and that's 412 people that voted. So that tells you, a lot of people didn't feel like we got enough, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's a 2026 pick, not a pick this year.
Howie Roseman wants to compete for a Super Bowl. This move is just one of those eye openers. Like, why did it go this direction? Like, what? Yeah. Why did it take this long to trade him if this was going to happen? Like, why did it take until almost April, pretty much, for this to even happen? So
yeah,
it questions me.
Yeah, Jimmy says, "Yo, fellas, Reddick will get 10 sacks. It will be a second. Think Howie wants to jump up from 50 in the second to the beginning of the second." Yeah, but the problem is that the second isn't this year.
26.
It's 2026. So we don't even know where you're drafting in 2026. You could be the last team in the second round. You could be the first team. This is not a 2023 draft pick. This is a 2026 draft pick. So we have to wait.
Well, is it?
2 more.
It's like when the Lions traded. It's like when the Lions traded Swift to us, right, for a 25 4th-round pick, right? But they had a backup plan because they drafted a guy in the first round. They drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. They already had the backup plan. They didn't just get rid of Swift and say, "Oh, and then really had no plan behind it." So,
right.
I think your draft changes. I think sitting at 22 right now, I think an edge rusher has to be possible at this point.
Right.
I mean, it might. You have picks this year. It's not like you don't have any picks. They have money now. So, maybe they'll pick off from a trade somewhere around the league. I don't know, but you just made that side of your line. I mean, but God forbid, what if you have an injury with Josh Sweat? What if one guy gets hurt? It's what do you got? Patrick Johnson, Brandon Graham. I mean, seriously, like, what do you have over there?
Right.
Not much.
Yeah. Yeah. K. Rouse says we didn't need a disgruntled player. You all act like forcing a guy to play is the idea. Well, listen, that doesn't mean we should just give a guy away for nothing either. Like,
goes both ways.
What's the in between? I think me and Joey have talked about the in between a lot. Restructure his deal, give him more money for one more year, and let him play it out, and then go on his way. That would have been a good middle ground. But at the same, you don't want a disgruntled player. I get that. But you also don't want to just give him away for nothing, and that's what we did. To me, that's what we did. We don't have any help. We don't get anything from that pick for another 2 drafts.
And what's his mindset? Is Reddick's mindset winning a championship, or is he getting paid, or is it both? Does he actually think he can win with the Jets? I don't know. I mean, it sounded like he just wanted to get his money, and that was it. So,
but he hasn't signed it. It's not like he signed a contract.
Not yet. No contract.
So it wasn't like,
yet.
They trade for Haason Reddick and he signs an extension. We haven't seen that yet.
So let me ask one thing. So if he was like a disgruntled player and like was a headache, and you see reports of that, would you feel more better about this trade?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want a player that doesn't want to play for me. I really don't. But at the same time, I just don't want to give him away for nothing, especially when he's your best defensive player. I think there's a middle ground. I think the middle ground was a restructure 1 year. Maybe he wouldn't do it. Maybe he refused to do it. These are the things that we don't know yet. And these are the things that would really help me to kind of like accept this trade, and be able to, like, people say, why don't you like it? Because I don't like giving away my best player for nothing. And that's how I look at it. So if there was more information, like Reddick said, he was unwilling to work with the Eagles. He was unwilling to restructure the last year of his deal. He was unwilling to show up for camp. He was not going to play. All right, then I kind of get it. But if it's just that, we don't want to pay him, and Vic Fangio has decided he doesn't want him, so let's just get rid of him for something, for anything. I don't like that idea, you know. I don't think it makes you better. I don't think if you look at your defense going into 24, I don't think you can say that we're better now, not having Reddick.
Because nothing is going to replace his productivity, whether you go in this draft or whether you trade for somebody. Because these are players you don't really find. But it seems like teams do pass up on guys like this. You said Carolina passed up on him, and with Carolina, with the Cardinals, he was more of an outside linebacker for the Cardinals. And I think his last year they started to use him more as an edge guy, and while it was too late, and then played really well and just decided not to pay him. So I don't know. Oh yeah, they traded him. They traded him. Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Shiza, thank you for super chat. He goes, longer 6 goes without a new deal, the more I look. I think that right now with Devontae, you're okay because you've got that whole option year coming. So I think the Eagles are going to use that to their advantage. But I do think the fact that Reddick is off the books, I do think I think there's a much better chance now that you'll see Devontae get done probably, before the end of next year. But I also think, I'm going to stand there and I'm going to sit there and say, I still believe that there's another shoe to drop. I don't believe Howie Roseman was going to weaken his team this much on defense. Not when he's done so much. I think he's got a plan, and I think we got to watch it and play out.
No, it makes sense. I feel like there's no way if Howie's trying to compete with this roster, they know how valuable that Reddick is. Like there's got to be another plan in motion with this whole thing. So.
Yeah, I agree. Run defense is a team effort on defense. Who's making big money just because they can stop the run? Not a lot of players, not a lot of people, It's I don't know. I don't know. It's just something is up to me, man. It feels like this is not completed yet. Khan, David Super Chat, he goes, Reddick was not underpaid. No team is willing to pay him more than what he is making. He can't cover and he can't defend the run. Jets are renting. Well, I mean, why didn't we just rent? I mean, he would have got you double digit
luxury. It's a luxury, almost an automatic luxury that it's going to work out.
Well, and the thing is, too, is it wasn't like, it's not like the Cowboys situation, right, where one player is holding up their whole cap. We had $33 million of cap space with Reddick's contract on the books. So, I don't know. You got to give me something for Reddick. Cheyenne, David Super Chat, he goes, do you think that this has anything to do with what Craig Carton said about the major Eagles player not being back due to off-the-field issues? That's a good question. Could he have meant Reddick? Maybe. Or maybe he meant a player. I mean, to me, if Reddick was a problem in the locker room, then this would make a lot more sense to me. This would make a ton of more sense to me. But I don't know. I thought he was referring to A.J. Brown. But I don't know for sure. What do you think about it? You know what he's talking about?
Yeah, I saw the reports on that. I don't know. I mean, that's when a name's not thrown out there, and you could think back to that. But I don't know. I don't see him that way. But I mean, we don't really know. So It's hard to answer that.
Lucius, the show says, trust me, the trade will absolutely look better by the end of the year. Listen, that's the whole thing. I mean, the key to this whole thing really is Nolan Smith and Huff. If they go out there and they play well and they show, what we think they can be, then it's going to be like, yeah, all right, we didn't need Reddick. Good call. Now we've got more money. I get that. You can't give an absolute about the trade yet. Or for that matter, any trade. You got to see how it plays out. But as we're here today looking in, I wonder what we have in Nolan Smith. I wonder if Huff can do it 2 years in a row. I have questions about them and the compensation. So we'll see. At the end of the day, we'll have a better idea at the end of the year. I mean, if Reddick goes out there and has 8 or 9 sacks, then to me it was worth it, Joey,
Yeah, and like I said, like we're going off of like what everything looks like right now. I mean, we're not shitting on Nolan Smith, we're not shitting on Bryce Huff at all. Like, thank God
No.
they got Bryce Huff. I mean, thank God they went out there and aggressively went after him. But it's just one of those things where, like, you're looking at a guy at 30 years old that has a body of work and has been one of the most consistent players on the edge in his career in the NFL. And you're looking at a guy that's coming off of one double-digit sack season that hasn't even played a full season in his career. So,
Yeah.
a big gamble for the Eagles, and I think they're looking towards their young guys. And I look, we might, like you said, we might be shocked. You might be like, oh my God, like Bryce Huff might be a monster this year, and be like, damn, Howie Roseman, Jesus,
I think Bryce Huff's going to be good. I do. I think he's going to be good, and I think Nolan Smith is going to be good. I just don't know where they're going to be at next year. But if you had Reddick for 1 year and they played behind him, I love that idea of then they take over for him. So we would have gotten to see a year of what they were about. But it didn't turn out that way. Listen, we won't know until the end of the year. But as of right now, I look at it and I think to myself, when you had Reddick, Sweat, Huff, Graham, Nolan Smith, you had an unbelievable set of pass rushers that would have just been rotating in. And I think you had an elite type defensive line. You take Reddick off that, I think you have a good defensive line. I'm not saying the Eagles are going to be trash. These players are going to be trash. If season's over, we're not going to do anything. None of that, I believe. But I believe you had something special with the amount of talent you had acquired at the edge rusher.
I agree.
Slip says, we literally sold Reddick for a bag of chips. If luck pushes our direction, hopefully that bag of chips turns into filet mignon. Yeah, hopefully.
Veal.
Yeah. Trexler says, nobody knows if Reddick has been a locker room problem. When did that come out? It didn't come out, really. It really didn't come out. There was a statement that John McMullen made, and it really sounded like he was really referring to Josh Sweat more, where he said that some of the players didn't do the things that Patricia wanted them to do at the end of the year. They weren't buying into the system. That's how I took it. But I don't know that Reddick was a problem at all. I have never said, or do I agree that Reddick was a problem. I don't know that. But you only bring that up, and people only bring it up because then it makes then it makes sense. That's how people try to rationalize and justify a trade that they can't, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So we're all looking for that, well, what's that reason? Why? Where's the, I get it now, where's the connection? Red Mafia Gaming, thank you for super chat. He goes, don't know why people are hating on Hurts. He is the main reason we won a lot of games last year. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess because he's a quarterback. I don't, I get comments like, people be like, they'll be like, yeah, Reddick did had a bad last 6 games, and basically it's all Hurts' fault. It's like, wait, Jalen Hurts is the least of our problems.
No.
The least of our problems.
No, not even worried about that.
No. Corey Williams says, only 1 pick is what rubs me wrong, not even 2 picks. And if Hurts isn't the guy down the road, they can use that as trade bait for a new quarterback. I guess they could. I mean, when's Manning kid come out? In 2026? Are we stocking drafts already for him? I don't know. Lewis, thank you for super chat. He goes, Howie only pays homegrown talent. This will be AJ's last year. I think AJ's got 2 years left.
Yeah, 2 years.
Because it'll be. Because even if Devontae signs an extension, it won't kick in till after next year. So I think essentially you got 2 years left with A.J. Brown. Radiation Bots, thank you for super chat. But he goes, what if Reddick was the problem in the locker room? Well, I mean, that changes everything. If Reddick, if it came out that he was a problem in the locker room, if it came out that he was going to hold out, I think those things change the narrative. They change my opinion of the trade. They do. it would change my opinion
Oh yeah,
of how I feel about the trade, huh?
I agree. No, I agree. I mean, if you have a player
Yeah,
that doesn't want to be here, I mean, it's you don't want that effect. That could affect your whole team, your whole roster. Going
right.
forward.
Bubba says that goes to show you that there was no market for Reddick. That's because the best offer Howie could get was stupid. Move should have just kept him for the year because Jets didn't sign him to an extension. Agree. That's my point. Like at what point is the value? It's just more valuable to keep him than to move him, especially for what we've built this year. In this team. It's interesting. Nathan says the people saying he didn't fit the scheme forgot 2021. Fangio needs edge pressures perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those rationalizations again. Like people are looking for reasons why the trade was okay, but I just think if we're honest with ourselves, it's we don't understand the trade right now. Don't understand why it had to happen, why it had to go down the way it did. And is there something we're missing? Is there some? That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to go, okay, what am I missing here? What is there something else? And my thing is, I hope there's just another shoe to drop. And this was step one of a plan for something,
Yeah. Yeah.
And Lewis, thank you for the super chat. But how he does, he likes his homegrown talent. He does. Army, a member for 42 months. He goes, I'm all right with the Reddick trade. He's getting older. We usually hold on to guys too long. Pause. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that you're going into next year and you get rid of Reddick, but you replace him with nothing. You've replaced him with nothing. And I mean, you got no compensation for him. Yes, you brought in Bryce Huff as a free agent who will take over a large part of his role. Nolan Smith too, but you're getting rid of talent and not getting a draft pick in return. You're not getting a player in return. So, I see that as a problem because the idea is you want to win a Super Bowl next year, and I don't see how this makes you better.
Because this is a different player we're talking about. This, a guy like Reddick, like that, has the numbers that he has every single year. It's hard. It's not just a normal trade like for a player that's not consistent. This guy is one of the most consistent players. But if you're competing to let a guy go like this, or Howie Roseman's not doing everything in his power to keep him in Philadelphia, at least for the year, at least restructure his contract, throw him some more guaranteed money up front in his face, say, hey, let's just try to get something this year. Let's get this done. Right. It just makes me question what's the real reason behind it. And, maybe Vic Fangio wants more of a scheme fit. I mean, he might look for a guy that's more scheme fit. What I mean?
Didn't Reddick, how much is changing from what he's doing to what Jonathan Gannon did? Jonathan Gannon ran a Vic Fangio scheme, more of a hybrid, right? Because they go into 4-3. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it's more though. It's going to be more pass coverage. That's Fangio's scheme is even when Fangio's in charge of it. It's worse. It's worse.
And this is my problem with coaches.
Yes.
If you're a good coach, why are you trying to force a square peg in a round hole? Why, as a coach, are you not saying, hey, this is what this guy does well. This is what my linebackers do well. This is what my talent is. I am going to build around that. When Jim Johnson came to the Eagles, he went to Brian Dawkins and he said, I am going to build my defense around you. He told him that. Brian Dawkins talks about that. Brian Dawkins was really one of the first safeties that became where you had to not just be able to tackle and play in the box, but you had to be able to cover, okay? And I think it really changed the way that teams looked at the safety position. But that was a coach that looked at his talent and built around it. Why can't Vic Fangio say Haason Reddick is a double-digit sack guy, is one of the best closers in the NFL. I am going to use him to his talent. Why does he think his system is so good that everybody should have to bend to it? That, to me, I don't like coaches like that, Joey. I don't. That stuff gets on my nerves.
Yeah, and it makes it harder because, like, a lot of offenses have kind of figured out this off-ball scheme now, because a lot of these teams are going to throw underneath, and you're going to have guys open. But for a defense like this, you got to have athletically sound guys at linebacker, and you need to have your pass rush has got to hit home. And I think that somewhat happened last year with Fangio. Like, I don't think it was as bad. I don't think he was great against the pass last year, but he did get pressures. He did use his linebackers. They were athletically sound. So, I mean, we have to give it a shot. I mean, Fangio, I don't think has won a Super Bowl under his defense ever. So, I get it.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have his scheme that he like, but I'm just saying you've got to be able to. You can't say, well, a player is one dimensional and he does this and he only does that, but you're a one dimensional coach in that you can only do what you think your system should do instead of using your players the correct way. Using a player correct way is to put them in the best position to be successful. Use them to their talent.
But why is Nick so obsessed with this scheme? Like, I don't get it. Like, even like Howie and Jeffrey Lurie, like, they saw what we looked like with Jim Schwartz. I mean, even with Jim Schwartz, we were really aggressive. Like, and it was very creative on blitzes, on blitz packages. And, it just, I don't know where this, I think this is a lot of Nick Sirianni. Like, he even kept it in-house, this defense in-house last year when Gannon's not even here. Gannon comes to Philadelphia and just is the most aggressive defense I ever seen from Gannon. And we saw what he did all year last year. But I think Nick had too much control over this defense in 22, and I think he had control over it last year as well. And you hired the guy closest to Vic Fangio, the apprentice of Vic Fangio that was closest to him, that worked pretty much with him in Chicago and 2021 and before that. I don't know. I question this defense. Like I don't know why you have to force players to play a certain scheme, and it's just
Well, I'm not saying that you can't build a coach can't build a defense and a scheme that he wants and get the players that he needs, but sometimes that takes time. You come in right away first year, you're not going to have every player fit every position you need. So in the meantime, before you get to build what you need exactly, you have to adjust. Tell me how Bryce Huff is any different than Haason Reddick. They say he's the same issues. Not good against the run, can't cover, and he's basically a pass rush specialist. Isn't that what you had in Haason Reddick?
Yeah. I don't get it.
There's something
happened.
else. Something that we're missing here. There's something that we don't know yet.
A 26th third-round conditional is already questionable as it is right now. You're gonna. Yeah, I mean, if the Eagles value him that much, then what happened? Like, if he has no value, like, why 26? Why not 25? I mean, I think we'd be complaining if it was 25 at this point. I mean,
yeah, I don't get it. Mr. Rudy put David Super Chat goes, was Reddick the player Craig Douchebag Carton was talking? David Super Chat. I don't know. I mean, everybody assumed that was A.J. Brown. Maybe. And I wish whatever it was, it would come out, I mean, listen, I'm going to be rooting my ass off for these guys. Nolan Smith, Huff, I think they could be very good. There's no doubt about it. But to me, that still doesn't explain why you just give a guy away for basically nothing. Foster Parks, a member for 8 months, he goes, y'all think Reddick left because Fangio's 3-4 scheme? I don't know. I don't think that's why he left. I think he left because he wants to get an extension somewhere and he wants to get paid. Although the Jets haven't extended him yet. And I think the Eagles have a plan. I don't believe this whole thing's over. I believe there's another shoe to drop. And they're going to make a move and we're going to go, now we get it. I really believe that.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a backup plan because if you thought you got better, you didn't. And if you think going into the first round of this draft is going to make everything better, and drafting an edge rusher, it's not.
Well,
But
that's
maybe we're thinking
Well,
about the numbers too much over like maybe more scheme fit type guy that can produce as much, and maybe it'll help other positions. I don't know. Like I don't know how to think about it.
Philly fan says $25 million on his contract. They can't afford that amount since they have 31 of the cap space left with the upcoming draft coming up and the players they pick. How are they going to sign them? They $33 million under the cap. They just signed Saquon Barkley. In the first year of his contract, he's making $3.8 million against the cap. The way you set up the first year of a contract is you set it up where you give them a signing bonus so your cap number is small. If you go and look at most of these guys that we signed, how do you sign all these guys and have $33 million of cap space available? The Eagles had $50 million next year. Do you do it because when they sign these guys, they sign them in a way and they structure it in a way with guaranteed money so that the cap number the first few years is real low. So you could have easily done it, and Reddick could have been $4 million against the cap, and would have been making a ton of money.
Yeah.
But I don't want to extend him. To me, it wasn't about extending Reddick. He's under contract already. Play out your contract. That's it.
Yeah, and that number actually, that 25 number actually changed almost $60 million. It actually updated to almost 60, which is insane of how much cap they could have next year. But AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and Dallas Goedert only account to 34 million against cap.
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling me that they couldn't fit him? I mean, come on now. Like, the guy is a cap genius.
Right. And what he does is he waits, and then when the contract gets to the point where you're going to have a huge cap number, he restructures. That's when he restructures the contracts. He's very smart at how he does it, Richie MC, David Super Chat goes, Philly 500, are you lacking a hammer and a nail? I'm not. No.
The fuck does
I have plenty. Thank you. I don't know. I'm thinking, like, is this something you're referring to, like, Easter? Or is this, like, I don't know. But I know that I have a hammer, and I have a lot of nails. Lonnie Taylor, David Super Chat, he goes, in Howie we trust. No way he left for no reason. Yeah, I agree. There's something to this whole thing we don't know. I agree with that. Thank you for the super chat. Richie MC Davis super chat man goes, where is the YouTube plaque? Oh, I got it. Yeah, I didn't put the plaque on the wall.
Yeah,
that's
hurry
right.
up and put it on the fucking
wall.
I
know. I just been lazy about it. I'll get it up. I'm gonna put it here. I think
it's in the garage. It's hanging up in the garage.
No, it's not in the garage. It's in my shelf. Richie, thank you for the super chat. Now I get it. Now let me ask you, because of the Reddick move, does this change the draft, or especially the first round, to you? Do you think that the Eagles are definitely going edge rusher now?
I mean, I think it makes it too obvious right now, unless they make somewhat of a trade. But like we've been talking about cornerback, we've been talking about cornerback mostly in the first round. But the problem is, here's the thing, and because we can get at the corner as well, because it's just one of those things now where, Bradbury, nothing's happened yet. There's been no post-June designation. There hasn't been any movement. And I'm thinking they're going to keep Reddick because he was, with a pass rush in front of him, and with Fangio being a consultant in 22, okay, with Bradbury here, played really well. They might not be giving up on him. Now, he only cost $4 million, a little over $4 million for the year, so he's not expensive to keep on the roster. So with Isaiah Rodgers here and the rest of these guys here, maybe they're still empty at nickel. Maybe they're looking for that next nickel guy. Maybe they go different, because I was thinking maybe Cooper DeJean in this draft, but now you have, they brought in Laiatu Latu, earlier. That Chopper Robinson now has been brought on a pre-draft visit. I think Chopper Robinson is probably the least defensive end I would actually get in this draft. You can get scheme fits. Latu has been in coverage. Dallas Turner is more of a hybrid guy from edge rusher to outside linebacker as well. Has played both. So I feel like I almost feel like you have to go that direction now. But you're at 22. You might not get a Dallas Turner or a Latu. You might have to move up, which out of the 4 to 5 years they have moved up in the draft in the first round. So it's almost certain that they.
I was thinking about this, and my thought was, maybe they do. Maybe they go a defensive end. I think this team's trading up no matter where they go. I think trade up is going to happen. I'm like 85% chance they're trading up, and especially if they're trying to get a defensive end. But I got a feeling they're going offensive line. I'm getting more and more feeling that they're going to go offensive tackle because Stoutland is apparently high on a bunch of guys, and there's like 5-6 tackles going to go in the first round. Like if you look at the tackles, the corners, and the edge rushers, like there's a bunch of group of them that are good, but I think you got to trade up no matter what you do. I getting the feeling they're going offensive line because if you really believe in Nolan Smith and Huff, do you really want to go get another pass rusher right away, or do you think that you're okay, or do you say, hey, we got to replace Brandon Graham?
They've went down that direction in the past few years. Like it would be nice if they changed what they've done and went corner, went a different position, but you lose Reddick and now you're going to have an offensive tackle redshirting.
I'll tell you what, if they go tackle, though, I want that kid from Alabama. There was a J.C. Latham.
Yeah.
6'8" or 6 something like 6'6", 6'8", like 340. Guy could play guard and tackle. Like they say, he's athletic freak. Like that's the kind of guy I would love Stoutland to mold. But I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. You would think maybe with Reddick gone, they go edge rusher. They need linebackers still. I mean, I like the Devin White signing. But I mean, there's more to do, Joey. There's more to do.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think if you're losing Reddick, like, you can't afford to draft and all. I mean, I think offensive linemen are going to drop in this draft. Like, they got Dad says Fontal, whatever that guy. It's another guy that I think Fanantu, whatever his name is, had a private workout with him. I think the most athletic tackle. So I think I think a lot of these guys are going to drop. There might be some guys that drop in this draft. So it wouldn't shock me.
I think you're going to see a lot of tackles go off the board before the 20th pick. I think a lot of edge rushers before the 20th pick.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see, I think around between 15 and 20, you might see 2 or 3 corners go. So I think it's one of those 3 positions. I wonder how much the Reddick situation changes it, but we'll see. Dad says, why did the Jets trade away a young guy they drafted if he's so good for a 30-year-old at the same position and pay him way more? Well, they didn't trade him. He was a free agent. So
yeah.
He was a free agent. But that's a great question. Why did the Jets feel that Haason Reddick was the more valuable guy to get?
It's obvious. Like, that's the guy you add to win a championship. Like, the Jets are going all in. Like, you're looking at the body of work, and Reddick's just a better player right now. I mean, they don't want to pay. They're not going to pay Bryce Huff over $20 million a year off of 1 year, because that Bryce Huff contract for us, he's going to be a fantastic. He's going to be such a great player. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've watched a lot of tape on Bryce Huff, and that guy can rush, man. That guy is. That guy's a monster. Yeah. Like, he did damage to us too. Like,
listen, the Jets have a history of being stupid. So hopefully that kicks into gear, because the one thing with Huff is, if Huff is just started to emerge and he had his first double-digit year, that means his best years are still coming. That's right where you want to be. He's just got to go out and show us he can do it.
Right.
Dad says it doesn't add up. I don't think it adds up either. And I think something else is going to happen. I do. I think there's another shoe to drop. Big Fish, Little Boat, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Patrick Johnson and Milton could step up also. I think Milton Williams, I think he's gonna have a good year. I mean, I think he's a great rotational piece.
I think he's underrated, to be honest. He gets better every single year with more opportunity he has. I think we're the only defensive lineman that really showed out at the end of the year. And like I'm saying, not by much, but I think it was Fletch. I think it was Amaro Ojomo. And I think it was
Ojomo too. Yeah.
Ojomo played well too. And Milton Williams.
Yeah. James, what's going on, man? How are you? Let's see. In Cool Tone says, I have a theory. If the Jets don't extend Reddick after next season, he's coming back. Think about the master plan. Trade Reddick, give $14 million, give Reddick after next year. That would be truly crazy. I can't see it happening though. I couldn't see it happening. I think they wanted to get rid of him. I mean, I do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, if they really wanted to keep him, they would have.
I think so.
I mean, you're not talking like, oh, we had to sign him to this or that. He's under contract. Mr. Rudy put David Super Chat. He goes, if we draft Chop Robinson in the first, I'm going to explode. He is not that good. Please, anybody but him, Howie.
Unfortunately, Chop is, and I want to see what Chop Robinson was all about. He's coming off a 4-sack season with barely even 20 tackles. So, but he had a monster combine. I don't want the Eagles to get too analytical when it comes to the first round. We've done it before a million times. That's why we've been going down the stretch with some of these, with some of these bad draft picks, before the last few years, So I think Verse is really good.
Verse a lot.
He's got 9 sack seasons the past couple years, 13 sacks for Latu.
But I like the kid.
Verse got power. Jalen Verse got power. I mean, he's just has a unlimited motor. That guy doesn't give up on a play. That guy is just a power machine. I mean, it's nuts what he could do.
Yeah, no, I like him, but you have to trade up for him.
Yes.
And the Eagles might do. I mean, maybe they'll do it, but we'll see. They may feel like, well, we got Huff and we got Smith. They're 2 young guys. We don't need to definitely draft an edge rusher now, even though we lost Reddick. And we'll keep those guys and we'll go offensive linemen. They might. I mean, I'm telling you, they might go offensive line in this draft. The people. Oh shit! I spilled my water. But people got to accept that. Because they literally, I could literally see them drafting a guy that could play guard and tackle. I can. And I can't fault them for doing it either, if it's the right guy.
I get it.
Fabio, they were super chicos. Was Vic with the Broncos when they had no fly zone? Was he there when? I'm not sure.
I'm not.
I don't think he. No, I don't think he was. I think that was before him, but I can't remember. Danquan Barkley, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, it's about future assets, not just this year. Yeah, I guess. I guess we're really focusing on 2026. And David Super Chat. And I'm not trying to be like a smartass, but I guess. I mean,
he
otherwise
does.
I'm not trying to be a smartass. I guess, because I don't know what other sense it makes. But why do it at the cost of this year coming up? That's the mystery.
Yes.
Why do it at the cost of hurting the team that you have now?
Yeah.
We're not talking about a guy who was like a holdout. Or we don't know that he was going to hold out. We're not talking about a guy that didn't have a contract. He's not like we franchise tagged him or something.
He was on contract.
He was under contract.
Yes.
His contract was already in the salary cap, but we were already accounted for it, and still had $33 million.
And why isn't the Jets? Because the reports are coming out that the Jets are going to give him a big, that they're going to get a contract ready, but why wasn't this contract already done? Like, why, how long is it going to take for him to get his money? You know what I mean? So we're going to find out what this contract looks like and see like where we're going to say, oh shit, no wonder how he didn't, he must have not really budged that much. If he's getting paid 23, 24, right. Who knows? But
I think a lot of people, if we had like a 3rd round pick this year, I think people, would understand it. I don't know. It's the whole thing is, it's another one of those weird things. Like, I don't know. I don't know the answer why what happened with Carson Wentz. We don't know the details of that. We don't know the details with some of these things that go on. And now we don't know why Haason Reddick had to go. Why was it a must to get rid of him? Tactical Eagle, is this you or me?
That's you, I think.
Let me see.
Yeah, it is. I think it is.
It's me. I'm so far behind. And okay. Well, welcome to Dingbat Nation. Welcome, buddy. Thank you for joining. Chris Scott says, remember for 31 months, he goes, Lori said this whole Haas thing would end up in a great way.
That's what he said.
Right. Yeah, and it made everybody thought that meant he was going to wind up staying.
Even Nick was like, oh, he's like, he named like who was at the edge, and he put Hassan's name in there like he was already going to be on the roster. But they do that because he's technically on contract, so he's going to say his name.
Right. He knew Haas was going, so there's definitely a couple big pieces coming here. I think there's something. I think personally there's another shoe to drop. Maybe it's a blockbuster trade. Maybe the Jaguars can't work out something with Josh Allen, and they can't work out a contract, and they're going to trade him.
Didn't they?
I'll give a first round pick. No, he's franchise tagged.
Yeah,
he's franchise. But I mean, if they did something like that, I would say, well, no wonder you got to get rid of Reddick.
Hopefully, Matt Corral gave us some good luck today. He threw his first touchdown in the UFL. So, to Deion Kane, it was Matt Corral to Deion Kane today. So hopefully,
I put on my Matt Corral jersey.
Those jerseys,
I got it all tested and ready. I'm all excited about it. That's our draft uniform. We're also found. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, my sources tell me Reddick was hanging with Diddy. Well, that would explain it, Oh,
man.
Tommy says, even with Reddick, I still do not think it's the best move to move. I still do not think it's the best move to move up for edge rusher. No one is going to replace double-digit sack guys. Just draft the corner in the first and draft the linebacker in the second. And an edge in a second. I've said it. The guy I would like to draft is Quinyon Mitchell, the cornerback. I would like to draft the corner still. But I don't know. I don't know that they're going to,
Yeah.
Dan the Man says he's already getting paid $15 million, so it'll only be 10 extra against the cap. So we have like 20 million. Wait, 10 million, 50. Well, we have 33 million, right?
Over 40 now. We have over 40 million now.
Right. Yeah. And just because you sign him to a contract doesn't mean he's automatically 5 against the cap. It depends how they structure it, And an extension, like let's say they gave Reddick a 2-year extension. That extension might not even kick in against the cap until the year after. So there's just so many ways to manipulate the cap. The Eagles didn't sign Reddick because there was a cap issue. That's the thing. There was no cap issue. There was no money issue. They just didn't want to sign him. For whatever reason, they didn't want to do it. Sewell Blaze, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Reddick literally played in a 3-4 with the Cardinals and the Panthers. Enough of the scheme fit. He wanted to get paid. He did want to get paid, yeah. But he was still under contract.
He played out his contract after a year. Like, it's crazy.
Right. But he still had a year on his contract. If the Eagles don't trade him, don't do anything, he's going to come in wanting a new contract. Now, if he holds out as a 30-year-old guy, I think that's really going to screw you. So I don't even think he would have held out, to be honest with you. But maybe he would have. And if he would have, then yeah, if I'm the Eagles, I get rid of him. I don't want players holding out either. So I get it. But we don't know that for certain.
Yeah.
Worship Guitar Hub, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Howie doesn't lose trades. ESPN isn't done. He isn't done. Yeah, he isn't done. I agree. Because Howie Roseman does not lose trades, and we know this, I think that there's another shoe to drop. I think there's something else is coming whether it's the draft or whatever. I think they're working on something big, and I think it's going to be a blockbuster. And then I think it's going to be like, all right, that's why we had to do it. You don't think so? I do. I think something big's coming. I don't know who's available. I don't know. Maybe Josh Allen. Franchise tag isn't working in Jacksonville.
All right.
Don't come on, man. Wouldn't that be awesome?
No, I mean,
I'm just trying to think, what could it possibly be?
But are you going to get a guy? I mean, yeah, but I'm saying if you're a guy, 17. So how many sacks do you have?
17, like 17 and a half, something like that.
So you think he's going to be cheaper in a trade?
No, but he's younger. I don't care. They'll pay him if he's what is he, 25 years old?
Yeah.
20. He's younger. Mouse, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, hindsight is 2020. Vision, just wait on it. Yeah, we got to. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, dude. I just know that I don't believe this thing. I don't believe that the final chapter of this Haason Reddick trade or why has been written yet. I think it's still to come. 41-33. Member for 6 months. Thank you so much for your support. The whole thing makes me sick. Get done working at the Phils game and seeing he's gone. How he's got to do something. Move up in the draft for someone. Could go defensive back, and hopefully coverage helps the pass rush. Yeah, I agree. So how much are we actually how much cap space do we have now? Do you know?
I know they had what 32.5 million,
33.1, I believe, 2 days ago.
Yeah, in
cap space. So Reddick they took all his guaranteed 14 million, right?
Yeah, so which is great. They've
only
they ate up the million. They ate up so they're going to eat up the million. The roster bonus, the $1 million, they're going to eat that up, which is nothing. So
it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know. So okay. So you have all this cap space now. You can't. I can't believe that this team is not done yet. I mean, go get Julian Blackmon or Justin Simmons. Go get one of those guys. Who's available that is in like the last year of a contract that might not be resigned? Is there anybody out there that Howie's looking at in a trade? Because I mean, that's what I think's coming.
Yeah.
Lonnie Taylor, thank you for the super chat. We signed Simmons, drafted defensive end first round, and maybe sign a veteran on the line like Calais Campbell. He would be an interesting pickup. How do you feel after that? Yeah, I would like it. I mean, I would be happy. And depending upon who they get in the first round at defensive end, I would be happy. But I'd still be not understand the Reddick trade. Because you could draft a defensive end anyways. You could sign Justin Simmons anyways. There's, what move could they make that would directly affect Reddick and him playing and would give reason for the Eagles to move him?
I don't know. Like, because with the switch, I mean, you're looking at, if since Reddick is gone now, like I mean, is there a cheaper, more cost-effective option? Maybe a guy that's better in pass coverage that they're looking at. I don't know. But we're gonna find out. I mean, Howie said even from the breakfast and all the press conferences we've got, he said he's still, he's like, we're gonna keep upgrading this roster. We're not done, so. I don't think they're done. And I'm not saying spend all your cap space. We need like $10 million for the draft, whatever. So, I mean, it's no big deal, but they have cap. We're never in this position in these off seasons, especially now you freed up 14.5. Now you're over 40 million cap space. And, like as you said, like Justin Simmons, you have Isaiah Simmons out there. You have, who else is out
there? Julian Blackmon. I like the idea that.
Still hasn't got a deal yet.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully Vic Fangio is going to develop one of these guys, man, and they're going to have a monster year. James says, Master, so they troll me, speak the truth. I can tell you about James. James has his own opinions, great guy. But, you got to respect what he says. I think James is a great guy. And let him, he might not agree with you, but he's got his own opinion, and you got to respect it. And I respect him. No one, David Super Chat, he goes, the Haas trade was so dumb. If you let him play out his contract and don't resign him, you get a comp pick. I know we could get a second, but no guarantee. Agreed. I mean, he has to play, 67.5% of the snaps on defense?
Yeah.
So what if they play him 67% of the time? Great. I don't get it based upon the information we have and what we've seen. I don't understand it either.
Yeah.
And thank you for super chat. Nikki Cunningham says, sit pat at 22. Who isn't supposed to be there will be there. Very well could be. Although, the Eagles, the last 4 out of 5 years,
they got lucky.
They have traded up. They've traded up.
They've gotten lucky.
They traded up for Dillard. They stayed put for for Rager. They moved up for Devontae Smith. They moved up for Jordan Davis, and they moved up for Jalen Carter. If they traded Haason Reddick and they want to get an edge rusher, I'm sure they have specific guy they want. And I see them going out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. If Troy Fatanu is there at 22, he's the pick. Jeff Stoutland Stoutland apparently loves him. And the kid from Alabama too, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Every draft, I pretty much every time I see a mock, Fatanu goes around between 12 and 19. So I don't know if he's going to be there. Let me catch up to this. We're so far behind. I'm so sorry. Hunter Taylor super chat. He goes, Kool-Aid or Wiggins in the first, then Bullard and a lineman in the second and third. Also, getting Trotter Jr. would be a dream too. I would love a Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I would. What do you think about the tight end Bowers in the first?
I think he's That's these tight ends now are turning into wide receivers, and Bowers just packs a punch. Dude. This guy, what is he like 240?
I think he's like 250 something. He's big. I think that the more I think about it, the more I like it. I almost look at it like the receiver and drafting a receiver early. I like the idea. Can you imagine now you have another tight end where you can actually go 12-man personnel when needed? I mean, you really could teams really have no clue what you're doing if you have the right coach.
Yeah, Goddard's 28 years old right now, and you don't have we never really found out who our number 2 is. Now you really don't have any. I mean, Albert O is the only one that's really signed. What happened?
No, the comment's hilarious. Mr. Rudy put thank you for super chat. He says, call him by his government name. I can't even pronounce it. Demonium Robinson. His production doesn't warrant a nickname like Chop. I like that. He doesn't like Mr. Rudy Poo does not like Chop Robinson. That's what we know. Let me see here. Lucius the Show. Is this you or me?
I think it's me. Thank you for coming to YouTube, member, man. Appreciate it so much for joining up. Thanks, bro, so much. Thanks for the support, man.
Thank you, buddy. Let's see here. No one. They were super chat goes, I think Howie trades for a cornerback and drafts a defensive back in round 1. What cornerback are we talking about?
Certain.
Patrick Surtain? I would love Patrick Surtain, but
because everybody just says this shit.
Surtain? Everybody. I would. Yeah, look, I love him. Great. Big Daddy Long Dong. What's that name? Here we go. It's that time of the show. Haason Reddick looked like his breath stink. F him. No one. They were super chat. Sorry, I meant defensive end first round. My bad. No, right. You're good. You're good. We got it. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Skid marks. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, fellas, do you think Howie pushes the pick to 2026 is because he has job security and tries to set himself up for the future, and other GMs are on a 2-year basis? I don't know. I mean, I think that if the Eagles really wanted to fire him, I don't think they would look at it and say, well, we got picks in 2026 they traded for, so we can't keep him. I don't think they'll do that. But I don't think, I don't think Howie is anywhere close to near getting fired. Even if things went south, I don't know that they would fire him.
I'd be shocked.
Dre Diesel, thank you for super chat. He goes, the only way the draft picks becomes a second is if the Jets having injuries to defensive end. Hopefully the Jets stink and it will be an early third. Well, you're assuming because I guess you're saying that he's not going to get the snaps. I mean, I think he'll get the double-digit sacks.
Let's see what this contract looks like. Let's see what the contract looks like, and he better be playing on top of what he's going to get paid if that's going to be the case.
Right,
so.
Right? Yeah. Purified David Super Chat goes, the only thing that makes sense is they love an edge rusher in the draft. This is true. I mean, Howie likes to go defensive line. I don't see them taking an interior defensive lineman in the first round, not when you've done it the last 2 years in a row. But an edge rusher, I could definitely see. An offensive lineman, I could definitely see. A cornerback hasn't been drafted since, 2002? Wide receiver, that would be a stretch. So, I mean, I think we're down here to 3 positions. Defensive line, offensive line, and cornerback. And I think cornerback is probably the least percentage of a chance out of those 3. Big Marshall, thank you for super chat. Goes, I'm praying he trades for Surtain. If we need a corner badly, I'm thinking that this move sets it up. Well, it would set it up. I just don't know that Denver has any intentions of trading Surtain. I've literally heard nothing about Surtain getting traded. So I don't know. Noah Davis super chat. He goes, I say I like Asante Samuel Jr. Similar
Yes.
CJ. I like him.
That's
too.
a trade. That's a realistic trade. He's on 1 more year on this contract.
Is he getting shopped though? Are they
No.
looking
Not that I heard of, no, but you never know with a phone call. But he's on the last year of his deal, and he's cheap right now.
I like him. I do. I
Perfect
don't know.
trade.
Denver Pyle. Ross found David Super Chat goes, Eagles will get Simmons, Richard Simmons. Great. That's what we need. Now, it's going to be interesting because I'm more convinced now than ever that something else is brewing. I just don't know what it is, but the Haason Reddick trade to me, I feel like this whole thing isn't over yet. I feel like that was the first step, was trade Reddick. Now they're trying to do something else, and they've got a plan in place. Because Howie Roseman doesn't lose trades, Joey. He doesn't lose trades. He just doesn't. 500, did you see Cox and Kelsey both do the first pitch? Yeah, I watched. The Phillies were horrible. Nolan got destroyed. That was a horrible game. It was like 7 runs in the first 2 innings. It was ridiculous. He stunk tonight. Dallas lost 9 players, about to be 10 once Gilmore leaves. Yeah, they think Bland is like a top 5 corner, though. I mean, they think he's the greatest thing
because he's going to be in the he's going to be in the Hall of Fame for breaking records now of something that's just being in the right place at the right time, and that's it.
Right, the right loser at the right time. Yeah, so they think he's like, he led the league in pick sixes, whatever. Dude, I could have done those pick sixes. Like, those were just freak situations. I think Bland's overrated, and I think that they're going to pay for it. A Big Daddy Long Dong. Thank you for super chat. He goes, EB's not happy with Reddick trade on TikTok. Well, what are you going to do? Thank you for super chat. Yeah, I guess a lot of people aren't happy about it. Hunter Wright, David super chat. He goes, need a safety too. Reed is not him. Brown is injured. The Justin Simmons thing is...
It's very realistic still.
Very realistic, yeah. It's got to be. Jack Driscoll's gone, right?
Yeah.
Driscoll signed. Where did he sign?
Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Opeta signed with Tampa, and he was a nice swing guy at both guards, and
Right.
yeah, and so Driscoll's gone to Miami. So you only have Steen, and I don't even know who else you even have, to be honest. I don't know what other depth you even have at this point.
Yeah. Shadow says, I don't want O-line if they're going to switch positions. Being a backup, don't want another Andre Dillard. I prefer not to go offensive line either. I think they very well could. I think the other thing is just because they signed Devin White doesn't mean that our linebacking position's fixed. I mean, they still, in my opinion, need to go and get early linebackers in this draft. They need linebackers, Joey.
They do. They need one linebacker in this draft, at least one.
Yeah,
they've already hit that position three times already. So,
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, man. I think we've got another shoe to drop. I think that something else is coming. I don't believe that we're done yet at all. I just think Howie felt like he had to get rid of Reddick. He couldn't get what he wanted, but he had to get him kind of out of the way for whatever this move is going to be. I mean, it's the only way I feel better about this whole thing,
Yeah, I know. It's hard to. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's a Philly thing. Says, don't get me wrong, Nolan Smith is a good player, but he's not elite pass rusher like Reddick was. Not yet. He's not yet. I mean, I think he's got tremendous upside. I think he's got tremendous upside, but he's got to go out and play, and he's got to show us. And I think Huff, he's got tremendous upside too, and he's got to show us he can be consistent because Reddick had a lot more snaps than Huff did, and he's gonna get a lot of snaps. So if those two guys go out there, like let's say you go out, let's say Noel Smith went out there and got you 8 to 9 sacks, and Huff got you 10 to 11. I think you won't miss Reddick at all. I really think that'll be fine. But that's what it's always going to come down to at the end of the day.
We haven't seen the guys hit the field yet, so I know everyone's just looking at the trade and saying it's bad, and it looks pretty bad right now. But this trade didn't happen after the draft, and now we're like at a standstill now where we don't know what to do. So give it time.
I mean, I don't know if it was the money. Like, are they going to make a move for somebody that's going to cost them a lot of money and they wanted the extra space? Or, did they want to remove Reddick from a position because they're going to still upgrade it? I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but in my heart of hearts, I don't feel like we're done yet because the Reddick thing, it doesn't help you at all in 2024. It doesn't make you better in 2024. And I know this team's trying to get better. I believe that they're trying to win, Mr. Rudy Poot, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, I'm not seeing it, fellas. I'm just not seeing improvement on defense. Why is the Optic Laser Slay still on the team? He's a podcaster. Well, here's how I'll see it, right? I think you improved in the secondary with 2 players so far, CJ Gardner-Johnson and Isaiah Rodgers. So I think those are improvements and add-ons. I think Devin White was better than any linebacker you had last year. So I think that's an improvement. An improvement on what? Being a really crappy defense. But it's an improvement. And I thought by getting Bryce Huff, I thought that by adding him as another pass rusher, I thought that, man, with him, Reddick, and Sweat, that is a real strength for your defense all of a sudden. Right. Because you're going to have these guys, fourth quarter, you're going to be rotating these guys in and out, and they're all going to be fresh, man. And it's going to be hard for these offensive lines to keep up with these guys. And I thought that was a real strength, and I thought that made your defense significantly better. But then you took Reddick out of the equation. I see the defense still being better than it was last year, but I don't think the pass rush is at this point. We can say it is. So
I mean, that's what we thought. Yeah, with the Bryce Huff sign, we thought like, okay, this is the future guy that's going into his prime, and we already know that Reddick's going to play out his contract, and we're going to have him here for the year. And there you go. You've kind of fixed him leaving after this year. But with him leaving now and having Bryce Huff, coming off of just a one double-digit sack season, not playing a full season, you're putting a big gamble on him. You're putting a big gamble on Nolan Smith. I mean,
I saw him as like, your third down pass rush specialist, like almost like Chris Long was, remember? And like he would come, like that's how I saw Huff playing out next year. And then, after Reddick goes, he would then step up into Reddick's role, or more prominent role, him and Nolan Smith. But man, that's how I saw it. And I thought that made your defense a lot better. But losing Reddick, it really, I think you have to wonder how much your defense is like, how much better is your defense today than it was a year ago? And I think it's fair to say not really that much. Right. Because I think that was that big of a move. Reddick was your best player on defense. He was. Dre Diesel, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, with Reddick lost, wide receiver in round 1 should be out of the question now, right? I would think so. I don't think they were going to go wide receiver in round 1 anyways. I think round 2 it's possible, but not round 1.
Oh, it's very much possible. Like, I still think at receiver they're not even done yet. Like, I don't even know if Paris Campbell's really a lock. Devontae Parker at 31, he's only $1.2 million. I mean, they can get rid of him and it'll be nothing if he can even stay healthy. If he's more of an assurance or just a camp body that's see if he could be more of a depth piece. I don't think they're done at receiver at all. I think they're gonna go draft a guy after round 1 somewhere.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. Let's see. Big Day Long Dog. David Super Chat. Who you got, Cody Rhodes or the Tribal Chief? I haven't watched wrestling. I couldn't even tell you what's going on with wrestling. I haven't watched wrestling since like 2001. Like the Attitude. I don't know. Do you know anything? I don't know anything about it, man. I couldn't even tell you.
You were around during that time. I wasn't, so I don't. Like Cody Rhodes
I know Cody Rhodes is a wrestler, but that's about all I know. I love the Attitude Era. I tried to watch wrestling. I tried a couple times.
Nah.
And I'm like, I can't watch it. This is garbage. What the hell did they do? It used to be awesome. ECW.
Your mic's off, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My battery just died on my thing, so let me just.
I hear you. You're good.
Hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get through these. Big Marshall, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, we going defensive line, we're good. We're going with youth at defensive line, we're good. This Reddick thing frees up money to get a corner. Fangio needs a corner. I like the idea of Samuel too, but I love Sertan. We will trade and sign a corner watch. Yeah, I mean, it does free up money, but we also had money. So, I don't think you had to trade Reddick in order to free up money to get somebody else. But, I mean, listen, Asante Samuel Jr., if he was available, I would love him. Sertan, of course, but I just, we'll see. We'll see. I hope you're right. I'll put it that way. I hope you're right.
I feel a lot better.
Yeah. So Blaze, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, I think Latu, Edrin Cooper are our Red Star players. Now you like Latu. And David, I just worry about his health, and the fireman thing bothers me. I'm not gonna lie.
You fucking guys. I swear.
It annoys the crap out of me that he's a fireman. Not that I have anything against firemen. I have post-traumatic Danny Watkins disorder. Danny Watkins, that's what I think of. Arthur Porter, thank you for Super Chat. Look what he wrote. Josh Allen to the Eagles. Now you're talking. Now that would be like
please don't feed him. Don't feed this guy, because just don't. You feed him, you get him on a roll.
You're getting me going on Josh. I'm going to be obsessing about Josh Allen over the course of the draft. I would love it. I mean, I'm sure that Jaguars are going to not let him go. But if something broke down in negotiations, and Howie Roseman has said, dude, we got to step in. And then it was like progressing. And he's like, oh, we can't keep Haason Reddick. We got to get rid of him because we're bringing Josh Allen. Now I understand the trade. Now it makes sense. I want Josh Allen, I've decided. Fabio Davis super chat. He goes, what about the trade deadline? Is Howie waiting? No, Howie's not waiting for anything. No, on David super chat, he goes, I really wish we could get Worthy in a second. It would be nice to have a guy when AJ has to go, although we really need Smitty's deal done. I think Smitty's deal will get done, and we do need another receiver.
Yeah, I mean, Worthy's not a future guy though. Worthy is like a play now type guy. Like Worthy, I don't know. Like you don't want two receivers almost the same size. I'm saying like I think you would want a bigger receiver, maybe in like Xavier Legette, or you want to get Mitchell from Texas or something like that. Maybe as your wide receiver 3 for this year, the next couple of years, and then put him on the outside with Devontae Smith when AJ Brown leaves. So we'll see. Lad McConkey, I would absolutely love in the second. I
like
love
him. Yeah, I like him too. I do. Josh Allen, Dan Stillman. No, we're talking about the other Josh Allen. The other Josh Allen. The Josh Allen Jacksonville. Josh Allen, $34 million. Hey, I don't care. You're gonna have to pay those guys anyways. I would take them. How old's Josh Allen? Let me see. Josh Allen is 26 years old.
In his prime.
26 years old, I'd pay him. See, I don't think the Eagles have a problem paying. I just think they got to be, can't be 30. He had 17 and a half sacks last year. My God. He's listed as a linebacker.
So are they tagging him because they're getting him an extension?
They tagged him, but there hasn't been any progress in him getting a deal done. So, there's nothing out there saying they're shopping them. You just have to hope that it would go south. Somebody put that in the comment section, and I was just like, it planted the seed, and there I go. You know how I am. Urban Oasis Art, thank you for super chat, my man. Philly should talk about the kickoff. Well, I'll say this about the kickoff. It's like the XFL used to do it. I actually am okay with them trying this because I got so sick of watching touchbacks every kick. But you are going to need a guy that can return kicks now. That is not just a throwaway position. Isaiah Rodgers volunteered his services to do that. And we'll see if they put Covey there or if they try to address this in the draft. But it's important.
Yeah, so Josh Allen's tag, so it's a non-exclusive tag, still negotiating a contract. His tag is $24 million for the whole year.
Wait. Not exclusive?
It's non-exclusive.
That means he can sign with other team. Correct?
Right.
Exclusive franchise tag means he can't go to anybody else.
Yeah, they have placed a
non-exclusive means he could sign, but the Jags get time to match it.
Yeah, so it's a non-exclusive tag, and they're trying to work. Yeah, so there's negotiations still going on. So if nothing is reached, then he will play.
That would be badass. That would be balls to the wall, Joey. Balls to the wall, Howie. Now that would make me go. Now I know why they got rid of it, because that dude's
God.
I'm getting all pumped up. Like I hope. Howie's probably sitting there watching, like I don't know, the Partridge Family at home, and I'm like, he's on the phone talking to Josh Allen. No, but I only bring up that name because it would to me this is what I'm expecting. Like after the way they moved Reddick, I expect something blockbuster like that to make me go, oh, I get it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's gonna be
big
the more
balls,
drama.
Howie.
The more drama, the more excitement that goes into the draft. It's just because you don't know what's gonna happen.
No, I do. I
Now-
think there's another shoe to drop.
Now the Eagles have money. I mean, now the Eagles have cap. Like, this is the first offseason while where usually Howie will do a lot with less cap. But when you have draft compensation and giving Howie more cap, we kind of went to this free agency like, okay, let's see what he's got, because now he has flexibility now. And
Right.
I mean, he signed what? He's between re-signs and signings in general. I think he's made about 16 moves. I mean, he's made a lot of moves this offseason.
Oh yeah. You know what? Every morning I wake up on my way to work, I send Mark Holmes a picture of our salary cap. Just to buzz his balls. 5 in the morning, I'm sending Mark Holmes a picture. Because it's like we got like all this money and we signed all these players, That's it's crazy. I don't know. Now everybody's talking about Josh Allen. It's gonna be like all over the place now. It's gonna be on the news, the rumors. No, there's no rumor out there. There's no information that's what he's doing. It's just I expect a counter move to the Reddick being something like blockbuster like that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But could you imagine? Like, I would trade my first round pick right now for him. Right now. Not in problem.
Can you stop? My God.
And he's listed not as a defensive end, he's listed as a linebacker.
Yeah, well, what what is the draft? What would be the draft compensation for a guy coming off 17 sacks is only 26?
I think an exclusive. If you sign a guy non-exclusive franchise, I think it's 2 first-round picks minimum. But usually teams negotiate that. So I would do a first-round pick, like a first this year, and then like a third next year or something like that. Hell, I would do a first and a second this year. I would do a first and second for Josh Allen right now.
We'll see.
Now you're talking. Now it's like have big balls, Howie. Balls to the wall, baby. That Reddick trade only screwed us up mentally for a day. And then Howie went and brought Josh Allen. Now you're talking. Big Daddy Long Dog, David Super Chat, draft Trey Brenson and 1-2 punch with him and Bark. I like the idea of getting another running back, whether it's the draft or a free agency. I think you need another running back.
Oh yeah, they have one more body in the draft probably.
Yeah. So do you think they would give Reddick his $1 million bonus in April 1st? No. I mean, I think if he was still on the roster, they would have. But
they're eating it up.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to believe that they were really worried about that either. So I don't know. We'll see. Non-Killionaire says, "I got him convinced. Bring me Allen. I'm gonna trade Allen. What's number is he?
You might be. You're right about a lot of things, dude. But
I'm not making a predict. No, this isn't a prediction. I am not predicting they're getting Josh Allen. No, I'm not doing it. I'm just saying that a move equivalent to that kind of move is what I expect to happen because of the trade with Reddick.
And you're good, and you would be good giving away. You'd be good giving away a first and a second because you're figuring you already have an extra second, so you'd feel good because you already you're getting a guy at 26 years old.
17 and a half sacks, 26-year-old. Yeah. But they're not going to do it. I don't think this. I'm not saying this is really I think it's going to happen. I'm not predicting it's going to happen. I'm not saying that. It's not like when I said the Eagles need to trade for AJ Brown. No, I'm just saying. Me personally, I would love it, but I expect the Eagles to do something that is going to make us understand the Reddick trade. Something like trading for a franchise tag player like that. That would make me understand it. That's all I'm saying. But we'll see. We will see. It's going to be, everybody's going to be talking about Josh Allen now. Watch. I was just saying, I liked somebody suggested it. I was like, yeah, that's the kind of move we need. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to be him or something. I'm just saying that because the Reddick trade was so, out there, I believe that there's got to be something that's coming back to us that's going to be bigger and we're going to understand. That's all I'm trying to say.
How the Eagles could trade for Josh Allen, video number 20.
Dude, I already got 3 ready to go.
I don't doubt it.
No, I don't. Not yet. But I'll tell you what, if I see something in the paper or written, Jaguars and Allen at a standstill. Oh boy, I'm coming for that ass. I'm coming. Pause. But yeah, if I see Jags and Allen far off on deal,
Eagles.
You know it's coming. We'll see. How he has a plan. There's a plan. I just don't know what it is yet. So that's why I'm gonna wait and see. You know, it'll be interesting. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, man? Before we get out, we better get out of here before the Eagles start calling us.
Who knows? Sometimes they do listen. We do. Sometimes we.
I know they do. Do I like Jackson? I do like Jackson Power Johnson. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that would be a really out of the box signing if the Eagles were to like draft him. But he's a big center and he could play guard, so I do like him. Yeah.
Be a good pick. I'm not against them. I'm not against them going offensive line. Like
I'm not either. I'm totally okay. I'm okay with the offensive line as long as it's the best player that was on their board.
Yeah, trade for Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Dude's a beast, man.
I know.
7, all right.
I'm gonna here we go. I'm gonna open my phone in the morning. I'm gonna see Josh Allen. I don't know what Philly was doing this shit last year. I forgot what he was saying. I forgot what you were saying. Matt Corral. I forgot what you were.
I wasn't doing Matt Corral. That was easy money.
Whatever. No. Who you sent me a picture of somebody every single second of the day. I forgot who it was.
It was Bijan Robinson.
Oh yeah, it was. It was.
But that's when Carter was supposed to be going in the top 5.
Yeah, right. I
mean, we always said if Will Anderson and Carter are gone, take Bijan. And I'm telling you right now, they would have.
I believe it.
Especially after the Barkley signing, I know for a fact they would.
Mm-hmm.
But I just expect. I expect that Howie Roseman didn't make that plan to trade Haason Reddick without having the next step to it. Another, I'm going to trade Reddick because I'm going to do this. That's all I'm saying. So I'm waiting to see what this next step is because I don't believe he just traded Reddick to trade him. I believe he's got a plan in place.
Right.
But right now I'm going to go get my hat made. It's going to say trade for what number is Josh Allen?
For
what numbers? 41? Is it 41?
Yeah, 41. 41.
Yeah, trade for 41. It's coming, baby. It's coming. Pause. All right. Well,
Dude, check that. 17.5 sacks, 66 total tackles, 33 quarterback hits, 17 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, pass breakup, and a pick.
Monster, Joey. He's the monster, man. Jamal, thank you for super chat. He goes, it will all be good soon. Yeah, it will. It's going to be interesting, man. Big Daddy Longdon says, y'all see Mark Holmes twerking the other day? No, I did not. I hear him crying every day, but I did not. But thank you for the super chat, man. But I think that's pretty much it, right? We've gone almost 2 hours. Dang.
Yeah, well, we
have
a
talk
lot
about, no?
Yeah, it's when you lose a player like this.
Yeah,
that's what happened. We were thinking like maybe something was going to break. I mean, thank God that this didn't break on Easter, but
Yeah, I remember the McNabb trade broke, I believe, Easter when they traded him to Washington.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I got to go send my Jacksonville Jaguar people out there and figure out what's going on. I'm just kidding. People, because I know I'm going to get DM'd. Or Mark Holmes will do a video. Philly 500 thinks the Eagles are getting. He said they're getting Josh Allen. I did not. But
yeah, we did. They say the Eagle fans think they can get everybody. I'm like, yeah, we actually can. We actually feel like we can because we have a legit.
I mean, how many guys have we talked about getting and then got? You know what I mean? It's like ridiculous.
How many times we got shit for saying certain specific names and then they get them?
When I did a video on the AJ Brown trade, the Eagles need trade.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
It was, because I was doing videos saying, all right, there are 3 receivers: Debo, Metcalf, and Brown. All of them want to trade. The Eagles need to trade for one of these guys. You've got 2 first-round picks. It makes sense. And then they did it.
When AJ Brown was working out with Jalen Hurts in the offseason, like I was like, oh shit, they're working out together. That'd be really cool if how we can make a trade, but then I got, so much, just so much shit.
Right.
I didn't even say they're going to get him. I just say, hey, they're working out. Like that'd be cool if they made a trade for him, but probably wouldn't happen. But
well, you can't talk about if you talk about anything, people will say, well, why are you talking about it? I'm like, I'm talking about it because there's an article on it and I'm commenting and giving my opinion on it. That's it. I'm not saying if I think the Eagles should get somebody, I'll literally say I think they should get this guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I said I think Saquon Barkley, boom. CJ Gardner-Johnson, boom. So
yeah. If they trade for Josh Allen, Philly's gonna rip off the Matt Corral jersey. He's gonna have a fucking Josh Allen Eagles jersey already, custom made.
If they sign Josh Allen, I might have to I don't know what I'll do, man. You're going to be running around in your underwear if we get a corner. Maybe I'll have
a linebacker. A linebacker.
Maybe I'll have to do shave my head on. I don't know what the hell I'll do, man. But I'll go nuts. But I don't think it happened. I mean, there's no rumors out there. Just for anybody just joining, there's no rumors. There's no nothing. It's just pure speculation. I'm just saying that I want a counter move, something that big to, offset the Haason Reddick stuff.
Oh, don't say you're going to talk about it on Dan Silio's show, and then that's when it's gonna that's when every Eagle fan is gonna post that shit, say, oh my god, Josh Allen. It's gonna happen. You say it on day. I know it's gonna happen. I'm waiting for you to jump on there. It's gonna happen. You're gonna say it on that show, and then it's gonna explode all over the place because you're the prime chief of where things
I know.
go.
I get things going, man. I get it pumped up. I get everybody fired up. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. I have to put these ideas out there. I'm not saying they're gonna do it. All I'm saying is that I believe another shoe is going to drop on the Reddit.
Yeah, I believe it.
And it's going to be something big. And somebody posted a comment and said, well, what about something like this? And it planted the seed. And I sat in bed for 2.5 hours thinking about Josh Allen coming to the Eagles. And now it's like I can't stop thinking about it. Yeah, exactly. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Josh Allen. She's like, who the hell's that? I'm like,
who the fuck is that?
Like, he's a football player. She's like, you're really thinking about men laying in bed next to me? I'm like, oh, God. But, it is what it is. So we'll see. All right. I mean, is there anything else to say before we get out of here?
No, I'm done. Yeah, well, everybody enjoy your holiday tomorrow.
Yes. And, happy Easter to everybody.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Are you doing any videos tomorrow or anything?
Yeah, I have a video set up for tomorrow already. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm gonna have a big day tomorrow, so probably not.
I might or might not have a video out tomorrow. I haven't filmed anything yet, but I might do something. So you might see me tomorrow, you might not, but we'll just see. But with that said, I think we should get on out of here now. We've been here for 2 hours. And if you guys haven't, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, click the link in my description. Go sub up Joey Shakes as well. And we will see you guys. Oh, we got one on the way out. Bald Eagle, thank you for the super chat. He goes, I knew Haason was going after the rumors sweat was coming to the surface. Howie will make a move because he sees a market for defensive ends cheap. I think you're right. I think there will be another move. And I'm not so surprised that they traded Reddick. It's just that they got a 2026 draft pick. I've never seen that.
Yeah, we had a feeling when we saw Josh Sweat got restructured, we were like, oh, okay. Well, after the Instagram thing that Josh Sweat put and said, "I will miss you all" in his Instagram. I mean, I wonder if that was even towards the Eagles at all, because it was just crazy timing when he put that up on his Instagram, and then I don't know, just kind of weird. So
yeah.
But we thought all of them could be together for this year to compete for a Super Bowl and do their thing. So
yeah, we thought so. But hey, it is what it is. We will see what happens. Happy Easter to everybody. With that said, we out of here. Peace.
Peace.
2 minutes to go. You have plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott! Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb! Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb! You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb! You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb! God! It's over! It's over, Dak! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking